This is The Big Story presented by herbchambers.com.
Hi, I'm Kevin Cullen. I'm a columnist for the Boston Globe, and Bridie Murphy is staying put. Bridie is 79 years old. She lives in West Roxbury, and she came to America from Ireland when she was 16 years old. In 1957, she married a U.S. citizen named Patrick Murphy, and at that time, she could have applied for citizenship. Instead, in 1979, she got her green card, making herself a legal permanent resident of the United States. Last year, Bridie decided to go visit her daughter, who lives in Ireland now, and stay for an extended period. Before she left, she checked with U.S. immigration officials and asked how long she could be out of the country before it might affect her legal status. They told her as long as she came back within 12 months, everything would be fine. Bridie came back after 11 months. And after being on a flight for 6 hours, not having had taken her blood pressure medication, and having gone through a special line so that her pacemaker did not be affected by the security measures, Bridie was taken aside and asked to produce her green card. She produced it, showed it to a border agent at Logan Airport. The agent said, "This is old." Bridie replied, "So am I." They took her into an office and interrogated her for about 3 hours, after which Bridie voluntarily surrendered her green card. Now, no one in their right mind would wittingly do this, but Bridie felt under enormous pressure and thought that she would not get home unless she agreed to do what the agents asked her to do. So in effect, the federal government, with all this talk about illegal immigrants, created an illegal immigrant from someone who had been a legal immigrant for 31 years. Bridie was then notified that she would have to turn up in federal immigration court on November 17th to beg a judge not to deport her. Now, if the circumstances in this case seem outrageous, what's more outrageous is that Bridie Murphy has 4 children. All of them are U.S. citizens, and 2 of them are in the U.S. military. Now, Bridie eventually called the Irish Pastoral Center in Quincy, where a fellow named Kieran O'Sullivan, an immigration counselor there, almost dropped the phone when she told him that among the things that she was dealing with was her son being in the Middle East as a serving member of the U.S. Army. Kieran O'Sullivan notified Chris Lavery, a lawyer in Canton who frequently works on a pro bono basis for immigrants who are struggling with issues of residency. Chris Lavery filed an appearance for Bridie Murphy in U.S. Immigration Court, and then they called me. Then I called the Immigration Customs Enforcement Agency, the arm of the U.S. government that was about trying to deport Bridie Murphy. I asked them why and how in good conscience they could deport somebody like Mrs. Murphy, especially given that she has a son in the U.S. Army who is in harm's way as we speak. They took a couple of days, but they got back to me and said that given the circumstances that they are now alerted to, they will not be deporting Bridie Murphy. I spoke with Bridie Murphy the other night, and she said she was very relieved and happy that she would not be deported from the country where she has lived for most of her life. She also told me that if I go to her house again in West Roxbury, she will give me as much brown bread and tea as I want. Chris Lavery was in court today, and he found that the immigration lawyers had already filed a motion to dismiss all charges against Bridie Murphy. He also said that in the future, Bridie Murphy will be walked step by step through the immigration process, and that when they're finished, they're very confident that Bridie Murphy will be a U.S. citizen.